Well, hello there, and welcome back, everybody. My name is Sir Medieval, and today I'm going to be showcasing a little bit about Endgame. A lot of you have asked the question, what does the Endgame look like? Well, this is one of the methods that you'll be using to progress during Endgame, which is harkening back to one of the oldest and most noblest of ancient traditions. That's right, we're talking about that grind. Yep, it's true. There is a grind factor in this game. You hit it pretty early on. In fact, you actually get to close to endgame pretty quickly, so you can reach level 41, level 40 even, within the span of a few days. 1 to 30 is really like about a day or 2 days after that. I mean, it's or like 1 to 2 days in general, and then from 30 to 40 is a pretty much like a couple days cycle. I mean, you really can reach this level or even max, for instance, within the span of about 2 to 3 weeks, which isn't bad. It is a grind, of course. It does get grindy around this point, but it's not nearly as bad as, some of the older school games that you've played. And also on top of that, a lot of this is based off of us only being able to play about 8 to 10 hours a day for a large amount of that time. So it does speak volumes about how grindy it is. It seems like more of a laid-back experience up until this point, at which point it's kind of turning into this where you will quest quite a bit. In terms of your dailies and whatnot, you'll always want to do those. Those do rack up quite a bit of experience, of course. But for the most part, that other, 60, 40, 50% that you need to grind out of that level, that's going to come from doing stuff like this. So right now we're just rotating around. This is the grind group, one of the many I've been a part of so far. But it's basically just farming these elites in this area here, making sure that we get enough experience. Divided amongst all of us. Even if it splits the experience, the rate at what we're killing here makes it worth it just in general. Makes it so much easier to deal with, and also you get a ton of automaton parts doing stuff like this, a ton of rewards in general. Of course, having a pet in this scenario does look like it's very beneficial, but in terms of that, you don't have to get one from the cash shop. Despite popular belief, there is a reconstruction token vendor that you can actually buy this pet from. You get I'd say about 50 to 100 tokens a day from doing your reconstruction dailies. When you press H, you'll see that menu. I'll open it up in a second, but I must warn you that it's going to cause some UI lag, of course. But the pet itself costs 15 tokens from that reconstruction vendor, so you could essentially buy your pet for up to about a week if you wanted to. You really don't have to worry about having the cash shop be a necessity in terms of getting you a pet, because it does help. So I'd recommend just doing that as soon as possible. Just do your dailies once you reach 30, and then after that, after you have enough tokens, just go ahead and buy one of those pets. So these are the dailies that I'm talking about here, and as you can see, they give you about 3 per quest. Some give about 5 to 10 even, like this one. So easily can reach that 15 marker without much effort at all. And you only need 15 to buy that pet. So if you get a bunch of tokens each day, then, you're pretty much set. And that's really only if you need it. I mean, you don't even have to use it until you really need it. So if you're in a grind group like this, you can just go ahead and pop a 1-a-day pet really quick and then be good. You also get dailies that you can do that are not really related to this, not the reconstruction ones, but the actual normal dailies that you can do, the daily missions per se. These ones actually are just random stuff, like doing a world quest or things like that. And they actually can give you an experience boost potion as well, like completing a dungeon once, for instance, and you get quite a few, chunks of gold, I'd say. Pretty worth it for the most part. But you can use that experience potion in scenarios like this to kind of give yourself a boost up. And then also there is food that you can get to get a 10% experience bonus. That's the only one that I've seen so far. There's probably one, I said bonus, probably one that's higher. But the tier 4 one that I saw was the one that I've seen to this day, and that one was for 10%. And that does stack as well, so I highly recommend using stuff like that to the best of your advantage. And of course, if you really want to min-max, if you have a house in whatever area you're grinding in, it does give you that 10% experience bonus as well, alongside, of course, the drop rate and gathering bonuses, stuff like that. So if you're in an area that's like an in-game zone that you might be grinding in, that might be something to look into early on as well, especially for the fact that when we do get new servers or when this game comes to the West, that'll be something to definitely consider if you're planning on going competitive. And picking your house could mean everything, because of course we're going to have a lot more people to deal with. And because of that, you'll want to make sure that you get your house as soon as possible, wherever it is. It'd also be a decent way to earn money, of course. I haven't actually received a gear piece out of this area yet, but then again, my inventory is just loaded up like Fort Knox over here. I've got, I think, what is that, 4 different types of automatons sitting there that I really need to just scrap at this point. Cannot wait. I actually do have inventory space in my my house bank. I just haven't had time to go back there to utilize it. So that's going to be the next thing that I do for sure. That looked really weird. That was like a major textural glitch right there. Holy crap. Getting a lot of automaton parts. I don't usually get this many, to be honest with you. For some reason today, it just seems like something else is going on here. I did get a new title earlier, the 4th automaton part title, so maybe that had something to do with it a little bit. Couldn't tell you, but either way, it does help a lot. I'll be able to get a decent automaton when I get back there. Maybe I'll go ahead and put out the hidden griffin here, or maybe not. I don't think we need it at this point, looks like. Make sure my cat is fed too. Okay, good. You can also craft the pet food too, which lasts a lot longer. It restores more stamina. Like the normal one, for instance, restores about 200 to 400, I think. The uncommon one restores about 800. So as you can see, major difference there. Really beneficial to make sure your pet can keep on eating. They actually don't get hungry that fast either way too, so you don't really have to worry about it regardless. And that would be the boss there. So yeah, it does suck, you know, in terms of, I know a lot of people don't like this kind of grind. There's different ways you can do this. I mean, of course, there's the flying bosses. If you were to do like all of your daily quests and then, you know, fight the flying bosses, at least 3 of each type per day, like you can maximum. And then, you know, do a little bit of this kind of grinding. You don't have to do a lot, maybe like an hour just to, you know, expend your experience bonus. By the time you get done with all that, it might be about, you know, 5-6 hours done right then and there. And that's still, you know, a good way to progress. You know, it won't put you at the tippy top, of course, if you wanted to go there, but I mean, it will keep you in league with other players that are being competitive. Absolutely. And as long as you're doing your, you know, your daily quests, not just the reconstruction stuff, but of course, like the dungeons, doing the blue quest, doing the green quest when you unlock a new area, stuff like that. You'll be just fine. It's not all about just when you get to a certain point, it's just all this. It's still everything that you've already been doing and then even more added on to it as well. For instance, once we get to 45 entirely, and once people are actually ready, of course, people will start doing the Black Herald invasions much more. You'll see a lot more of that going on, and that'll be really good for people looking to get some more, you know, experiences in the open world and kind of actually start getting that social aspect out of the game, possibly. I don't know if you'll be getting that much from pugs, but I mean, you know, people can surprise you, of course. You never know. Especially in scenarios where you're likely to wipe and you got to strategize, of course. You never know. One thing I'm really looking forward to that I still haven't really, you know, encountered is some more mass PvP. I've actually been looking for it. I keep missing it or it's just not happening. I don't know, but I keep looking in Realm Chat whenever I can to make sure that nothing's going on there. So far, just a couple of camped world bosses by enemy, you know, faction members, but that's about it for the most part. It's starting to get worrisome, you know? I don't know where the PvP's at. Hopefully this works out to where we'll be able to find some more, though. Okay, there we go. I'm about to hit 75%. I cannot wait. Good. Yeah, this is honestly gonna be the way to go when it comes to after you've done your quest and you need to get that last 40-50% of experience. It's the way that you can, you know, at least get there quicker, so you don't have to do as many dailies, so you don't have to do as much questing in general, so you can get to that next area quicker. It's the way to do it. In the next one, I'll be showcasing a little bit more about what other choices you can do. As soon as I do reach that point to where I am able to do the Black Herald invasions, of course, we'll be doing that as well. That'll be super fun. I've been leveling up my, you know, what's it called? My contribution rank so that I can have access to the higher tier airships. Currently, I'm only at rank 4 for the crew, but I'm in league with everybody else that's doing this right now, so that should be fine. In a couple of days, we'll be able to make a new airship, no problem. One thing I do like about that too is that it does reset your realm total contribution needed whenever you rank up to a new status. So like for instance, it starts out at I think novice crew, and by the end of it you have to get about 15k contribution, but once it goes down to, or once it goes to the next stage to the regular crew, then it's only like 3,500 for the first level, and then so on and so forth. I do like the way that they do that. I think that kind of incentivizes people to not grind their brains out and, you know, not feel discouraged to do just that basically. So I like the way that that works. But anyway, folks, you pretty much know exactly where it's going to go from here. This is probably going to be at this for another 2 hours or so. We'll see where it goes. Hopefully I can get at least to 85% by the end of this, but we'll see. Anyway, folks, thank you guys so much for joining me for another one. I know it doesn't look as, you know, appealing as other situations, but I promise you it's definitely not as much of a nightmare as other games this might remind you of in terms of grinding like this. It's really not going to be that bad. There will be other stuff for you to do during your day, as you can see here in the realm construction dailies, and then of course the dungeons that you're able to do. Of course, they've also added the 44 and the 45 dungeon too, so that'll be very nice once we get access to that. You also do get quite a decent amount of XP from doing the dungeons as well. You might get about, you know, I'd say, and I know this doesn't sound like much, but 1 full percent, maybe like 0.80 after every dungeon run. So I mean, that's not bad in terms of like how much you'll be grinding at this point. Once you get to 45, that's when the real grind begins, and I think that they do that because they want to time gate people out of the high level content, so that once they reach like once they want to release like level 50 content, they don't already have people like at 52 kind of thing. So we'll see what happens there. Maybe that's where they're doing it, maybe not, but we'll find out soon enough. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining. Once again, you guys have a wonderful night or day. We'll see you next time. Later.